Mika Apichatsakol here, the editor of Koktail, and I'm here with my co-host today, Nigel Oakins, aka the old man who sits at the bar.
Well, today I'm not sitting at a bar. I'm sitting with you on the top of the Banyan Tree Hotel. So Mika, we're here. We've done this before for the first two issues. Issue 3 is just out. Issue 3, looking beautiful. We're going to talk about the magazine, and we're also going to have a little chat. Can I hand it over to you?
Yeah, sure. So just a little bit of a background as to why we decided to do it at the Banyan Tree today. So they're actually celebrating their 25th anniversary tomorrow. And so I figured since they're going to host a bunch of cocktail events, they wouldn't mind us having some earlier cocktails. And it came true. So that's why
pretty
we're
good
here.
thinking. Well done. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into issue number 3 of Koktail. We have a theme again.
We always have themes, Mika.
I think you were the one who first
It's not. I don't think it's down to me to choose the themes, but we kind of throw them out there. Right. And we were thinking about creativity. I think that was and we thought it'd be nice to add innovation into it. I mean, the whole magazine is there to we say all the ingredients for a great life, but we're also celebrating the goodness of being here in Thailand and what we happen to think is one of the greatest countries in the world. And innovation is very much part of what Thailand's all about. And so the magazine, I think, from reading it, Mika, you and your team made a very strong effort to kind of showcase Thailand's creativity and innovation in this particular issue.
I mean, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword to have a theme like creativity, because on one hand, it's so integral to our lives, right? Like even just this maybe flower arrangement here would have had to involve some creativity, or should have involved, right? So all these like small little things we interact with every day have creativity. And I think that's what makes it hard, because it's like, how do we put together a book about something that is so important, right?
Right. Well, we're definitely trying to be innovative, that's for sure. We're definitely not trying to copy anyone else. And that goes with our covers from day one, where we've had a local artist, we've commissioned a local artist to produce the cover exclusively for us. This one is kind of a bit different. It's not quite so abstract as the others. And it actually features a story in the magazine. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I want to shout out to the artist this time around. It's none other than Nakrop Munmanas, which I'm sure a lot of people in the local art scene will recognize. His artwork is very distinct. You can see there's like some realism compared to our other covers that were more illustrative, because Nakrop works in collage work. And I think that was quite ideal for this issue, because we have a Ferrari on the cover.
It sort of shows the integrated approach now that marketers are taking, where they don't just want to put maybe a TVC on a television channel, or they don't want to put a page in a newspaper or a magazine. And so they're looking at an integrated approach with a media brand. And this was our first opportunity to do something like that. And it was commercial, and it was also editorial, and it was also integrated with an event. So we hope we're going to get more clients doing that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a good story. It's really fun, really well written.
Okay, well, do you want to get into a bit of like what is to be expected inside? I think the standout piece that you can't avoid talking about is a little piece by Kong Ritdi, who of course is a veteran, like a superstar film critic of Thailand.
Yeah.
He's written for a long time for the Bangkok Post, but is more or less focused now more on film work and sort of being an independent film journalist, I would say.
Yeah.
I have wanted Gong to write for our magazine for a while now, so I was really glad his schedule aligned.
It really deserves a big audience. I mean, it was the story of the day. I mean, the Thai Prime Minister, the Thai government were thrilled when a Thai pop star sort of talked about mango and sticky rice. Completely viral story. Everybody, the tourist authority is promoting Thailand's soft power. This is a bit more of a deep look at what soft power means. And he's a social critic in a sense, isn't he? And,
definitely.
And he's a brilliant writer. And I think we're really lucky to have him writing for us. What else were you particularly proud of?
I actually enjoyed a piece by one of our in-house writers, Eric,
Hmm.
on crunch culture.
Yeah.
I'm a total noob when it comes to the gaming world.
Yeah.
I'm not in it, but I do enjoy like asking questions. And Eric is the perfect person to ask those questions to because he's like the opposite of me. He's like immersed in that world.
Yeah.
And I found it quite an interesting little window into what the game making industry itself is like. So when you hear the word crunch culture or like crunch time, I think you can imagine what that means. Like everyone in their work kind of has crunch times,
Yep.
right? So this in particular is talking about crunch time in the gaming world where games are under so much pressure to come out and to come out with all these high-tech qualities and storytelling and all that. But it's gotten to the point where people working in that industry are just so overworked and burned out. So it's not really a sustainable solution when it comes to labor, right? So I thought it was a quite interesting piece. And
Yeah, it was really well done. And I'm a complete lay person on that. But I also feel it was a relevant story for the time because more and more people are saying that maybe that's going to the direction the metaverse is going to take, where branding is going to get immersed into gaming more, even more than it is now.
Right.
And people's lives are going to become more and more not real. And yeah, so it was an insider's view on how you deal with that. There was a story from our project director, Chris, who's obviously a foodie.
Right.
He kind of, the story he wrote in this issue was, I think he went to London and he ate at some of the, some restaurants in London to compare innovative cuisine in London with innovative cuisine in Thailand. And I kind of read it and I thought, what type of person are we working with here? Because if you just, I mean, if you list out the restaurants, they're the restaurants that you cannot get into.
Right.
The 3-star restaurants in the UK you cannot get into. He goes there on holiday and he has dinner in 5 of them in 5 days.
Yeah, you know, you read that and you realize like what a different person Chris is compared to me, or like I guess
Definitely
you.
compared to me. Yeah, and then he comes back and let's give a bit of a shout out to some of the restaurants he recommends in Bangkok and in Thailand that compare to these fabulous restaurants overseas. Cadence by Dan Bark gets a good mention. On the island of Phuket, Jampa from the Montara Hospitality Group is right up at the top of Chris's list. Mokasia Laboratory, which is also in Phuket, I think, not been there, raving about that. And he goes up to Chiang Rai, and I have been to this restaurant, Locust Native Food Lab, and I agree that is absolutely brilliant. And well, let's talk about the food festival a little bit, because all of those restaurants, I think, are actually
Being featured in the event.
Featured there. The chefs are going to be there for 2 days to the public. There's a big trade night to announce the 30 award winners. We've got some fun awards. We don't give stars, but we give innovation awards, Young Thai Chef Award, industry, the person who's done the best for the industry and so on. And so we've got that awards night, which is a big trade evening. We've got great entertainment, fabulous, hospitality, food and drink, and 25 chefs cooking on booths. They really are the top, I wouldn't say the top 25, but 25 of the top 30 restaurants. Okay, back to the magazine. There's one here called Filling the Gaps. It's written by our very own Marie Carmen Davila. Tell me a little bit, how did that story get into our magazine, and it's definitely innovative.
Yeah, so I mean, when you get past the sort of initial sauciness of it, it actually is quite an interesting tech story.
Yeah.
Yes, it is about, the sex industry, but it's kind of given a sort of well-being lens to look at. So it's really re-examining the role of sex in everyone's sort of day-to-day well-being, which I think is quite cool, and also how tech works into that. And I think the ultimate message here is that it's making sex more accessible to groups that were maybe overlooked in the past.
Yeah, and disadvantaged, and people with physical disabilities.
Yeah, it's provocative, but it's actually very informative and very interesting at the same time.
Yeah,
I definitely recommend
out as well, and
you diving into it. And it's a quick read. It's not long at all, but it gives you a good amount of information about what is going on in this industry and how it's improving people's lives.
Let me bring up that we've got a number of the stories labeled Cocktail and. Now, those are our kind of partnership content where brands come to us and say, we'd love to have an editorial treatment, a story written about us the cocktail way, if it were. And I see we're getting more and more of those.
Yeah.
What is drawing so many of them, of these great brands to us?
I think if you look at the print landscape in Thailand, there's honestly not many titles. I mean, there's not even many newsstands anymore, right? But when you do find a rare newsstand, there are not many books on it, and even less than that, English language.
Yeah, I probably should mention, I mean, I've had a few people say to me, oh, I've seen your magazine on the newsstand. I didn't realize it was a Thai magazine.
Exactly.
I thought it was published in the UK or Australia or New York or something. It's an imported magazine. I mean, I've noticed a number of people are already aware, even in a short time of 1 year. A number of people seem to be aware of the brand. That I would kind of go somewhere and people would say, "Oh, I saw that. Say, I saw what you wrote on the back page about this. Didn't agree with you, but I thought, yeah, are you getting that?" Or
yeah, for sure. It's kind of humbling and surprising to go out and about, and when you mention that you're from Cocktail, people are saying like, "Oh, the Orange magazine," or "Oh, Cocktail with a K." Like it's really getting out there, you know, and in quite a quick amount of time if you consider it, because we haven't been around for a year yet even.
No, it's punching above its weight in terms of perception in the marketplace. And I guess we're trying to be innovative, and it seems to be coming through a little bit.
And I think the one thing I will say though that I believe when I hear is that it's so different than what is out there.
Right.
And I don't think that can't be a lie. Like, you know, when I hear that, I don't think that's just someone blowing smoke for me, right? It's like, I think the brand identity of Cocktail is so distinct, and that's our huge, like, unique selling point.
Right.
And to circle back to your question, I think that's why brands want to collaborate with us. And I think they believe in the readership.
There's a lot more in this magazine. It's starting to get a little bit dark up here on the top of this sensational views. And I think they're kind of waiting to let in 200 people to come and have dinner here. So we should probably wrap it up. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you know, congratulations on another fantastic issue.
Thank you.
Look forward to sitting down and having a chat when issue 4. Do we have a theme yet for issue 4? Can we say what it is?
We do. Can we say what it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
go for it.
Right.
What is it?
So because issue 4 is going to come out and coincide with the day we launched.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we decided to sort of celebrate ourselves. So similar as the, Banyan Tree celebrating 25 years, we'll be celebrating 1 year. So
it's celebrating all things worth celebrating in Thailand.
Yeah. And I think there'll be a big focus on Thailand, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's celebration. So
all right, so great.
And as usual, if you want to get a copy of Cocktail, we're in Asia Books and also in Kinokuniya. You can also message us on our social media. We can arrange subscriptions, and please follow us on all our social media so you won't miss all the content that's extra from the book. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye.